first and foremost, I just want to say thank you for everything you're doing for the LSAT community. Um, I took the LSAT. I've taken the LSAT already 3 times, and out of my 3 attempts, the first time I ever took it was back in June of 2018. Was my first one, and I think it was a surprise for me as far as like I had done time tests, so I did see my progress. I did take an LSAT course, like I've said, with my school, but we used the Princeton review, which again, I guess because it's yours, it's your LSAT. You know, I don't want to throw any shade or anything like that, but for me personally, it just didn't work. I just think it wasn't very specific. Like I feel like for example, like now I see strengthening question a little bit easier, um, but I remember it being like possibly maybe like 2 pages of explanation and then that's it. You know, and to me it was like, whoa, what do you mean just 2 pages? So when I took the LSAT, I ended up scoring a 136. I remember my first attempt, and I just remember being devastated because to me, I guess I don't want to say everything has always gone my way, but I guess I've never taken something that's been that challenging towards me. Like I think college was challenging for me, but I always figured out a way to always like come on top. In other words, I mean, and the LSAT was just like, whoa, like I remember leaving um my LSAT day like as soon as the test was over, and I just remember being in the car saying I could have done better. Like I did not feel as if I had like passed. Like to me, it was just like, oh, I could have done so much. And then I ended up scoring a 136. And I ended up going to Alaska, and in Alaska, staying with my mom. She owns a restaurant up there, and I took those books with me, the Princeton book, and then there's the I believe it's the Princeton workbook, I think, where they do like games, and it's not real LSAT games. It's their made up games. I don't know if you knew that. Yeah, and to me, like I remember doing those games, and I just remember hitting myself in the head saying like, what is like I don't understand this. Like possibly this is not for me. Um, and then on Reddit, someone actually mentioned you. They were like, go to Steve. You know, he knows what to do. And once I started watching your videos, that's when you said, you know, you must invest in yourself. And me, I thought that every book was like Princeton, because that's what we were taught in this course. That's what we were told. We were told basically, this is the book. You want to pass the LSAT? This is the book. This is it. There's nothing out there. This is it. I've somewhat kept in touch with some of the students in that class, and some of them have either given up completely, and others are actually still right now as we speak during that process of like trying to get into law school. And I've spoken to them like, hey, listen, like, you know, there's more sources out there. You know, some have listened, some haven't. Um, and I guess doing one of those classes like right after like that starts at 9 where we all gather together, I've seen that has helped me a lot because at first I thought that I had to be in there trying to be smart with everyone else, but I saw that instead, you know, no one like looked down on you. Like everyone's like, okay, well here, let me help you with this. And I saw how I was able to help others, and they were actually able to help me, in other words, and what they saw. So that was very helpful. Um, but I took in the LSAT again, and this time I was working at a law firm, and I had to quit because I saw how like my work throughout the day was basically you know, reading and writing, and by the time I was done, like I was getting off work like possibly like around 7 or 8, and I was just mentally drained where I didn't want to read another argument. I was just like I'm done with it, and I took and it for some reason the 2 times that I took the LSAT, I guess like 2 weeks before my test, I was always hit with the case where it was like, yo, like this is very time sensitive. We need this out. You know, if you need to stay late in the office, like we need this done. And I saw how I kept, you know, going out of my way to make sure the client, you know, because that's what we have to look into. You know, we have to make sure it's all about the client. But then I ended up realizing that I wasn't being fair with myself, and I walked away. And I mean, now I'm in security, and I'll be honest, what I make a month in security is what I used to make a check. You know, so it's a huge cut. It's a huge cut, and I don't regret it. I really don't regret it. I think there was one class where we took where someone said that they also had left the law firm. I don't know if this was Thursday, I think. I don't know if you remember. But she said she had also left the law firm. And I remember I wanted to tell her, like, hey, you know, I did that too. And I know that feeling. Um, but I could just say that your classes, your logic reasoning has been very helpful. I've been taking my time with it. I don't want to rush through them. I've seen the difference of and or. Like we were taught that, like when you do the for example, like it says when you do the contract positive, instead of changing it, it becomes or and. But I didn't know, we weren't taught this, that the or didn't mean like the way I would read it was, R or M, I would actually still think it meant and. I don't know why, but it's just very confusing. But Steve, I just want to say thank you. Honestly, there's been days where I'm like, I'm done. Like, I don't want to do this no more. But then I look back at like the people I've helped and whatnot. I've also looked back at like, I can't give up. I've never been that person to give up. And I just feel like the LSAT, like at first I was one of those people that used to say, the LSAT does nothing with law school. It has nothing. It teaches you nothing. It's just a bunch of wasted time. And now looking at it, I can see how it's helped me understand. Like sometimes I actually feel that I feel personally that I'm smarter than my operations manager, because there's just stuff like the logic game, for example. I'll be like, no, 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 that can't happen, because if this happened, then that negates this. And like it makes them think like, and I know it's from like the logic games, like how we have to set up I don't think logic games was something hard for me. But something we were never told was to diagram arguments. We were never taught that. And I know there was many times where I would read something and I'll be like, this seems like I can diagram it. But we were told like, no, 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 it's a time test. Diagram nothing. Just read it and try to figure it out. Um, I'm upset that I wasted my time. I really wasted my time on these other courses. But I'm happy to be here, Steve. I really am. I'm very very appreciative. I basically do my studying at work because at work, since I'm a security officer, I have the opportunity to either watch TV or I could read a book. I've seen other guards actually bring their PlayStation and play games, because all we do is just stop people, ask them where they're going, and if they have permission to come in, you open that gate. If you don't, you turn them around. And for me, instead of doing that, I sit there, I watch your videos. I guess like a 4-minute video of yours ends up being possibly maybe 30 to 40 minutes, because I got to stop it, and I listen to it. I make sure I write notes. On everything that you say, and even though I somewhat have some type of knowledge of what, like, like, I guess, like, not the full understand of what it is, but I haven't skipped anything. The only thing I skipped was I went from logic games straight to logic reasoning. Like, I didn't want to, I'll go back to logic games, but like, I think logic reasoning has been like my main hard part. Like, I know reading comprehension is too, but I feel like once I get that logic reasoning, I feel like I can get the reading comprehension. Um, but I guess it's just finding that time. Me personally, I can admit I can't study at home. Like, I have to either be at the library or I have to go back to my university and I have to study there. Like, I cannot do, like, once I'm home, like, I automatically just become lazy automatically. And so like it's hard for me to push myself. Like, I've been making sure to study at 8 also. Since we do your classes at 8, I make sure that every night at 8, I'm sitting here, trying to read or trying to go over what I learned. I do feel hopeful. Honestly, like, just watching your videos, being able to go back, um, and taking the time. I'm watching each video one by one. I don't want to skip anyone, even though it's, like, I kind of understand how contrapositive works, but for me, it's like, no, like, let me listen to it again. Let me get to it. But no, I'm happy to be in this course, Steve. I really am. I really do appreciate it, and I feel like watching your videos have like really have made me feel like, like, I know where I'm at. I know where I'm standing. Like, I get the questions. I'm able to identify the questions, how to ID the questions. That to me was something where I don't know if I couldn't do that before, but it was just something where I was like, oh, how to solve this. And your videos have really, like, even though they're 3-4 minute videos, like, they're very, very helpful. Very, very helpful. Steve, I mean, I guess that's it. I mean, I cannot thank you any much for everything you've done. I mean, I never in a million years thought I would ever be in front of you, talking to you. Really never thought about that. Like, even though I knew you were the LSAT guy, and I don't know why it took me so long, I guess, to like reach out to you or anything like that. I guess I've always been that person, like, I can do it on my own. but I did see your videos. You know, they've been very helpful. You know, I started investing in myself after I saw that video where you're like, you have to go out there, you have to buy books. You know, like one book can help you get 4 more, 5 more points. You know, and it's all worth it. And I've seen it. I've seen how that video helped me, and I started going out there doing more research. I guess what I was put in my head in that classroom where it was like, this Princeton book, this will help you. You don't, there's no reason for you to spend another dollar on another book. And that really did hurt me a lot. But I don't want to make any excuses. You know, I now just want to move along and score as high as I can possibly.
Thanks for tuning into the show. Please subscribe if you haven't done so already to be notified of new episodes as I release them. And feel free to reach out if you need anything at all as you move forward with your prep. I'm happy to help however I can. In the meantime, I'll wish you all the best and take care.